I'm sure you've heard someone who doesn't play FIFA say something like, why bother buying the game, nothing changes every year. Well, what exactly has changed in the past 7 years? I've re-downloaded FIFA 16 and today we'll be comparing how career mode has improved, changed, or maybe even got worse since 2015. Throughout the video we'll be trying to answer the questions, is it really worth buying FIFA every year? Is old FIFA really as good as you remember? And is FIFA 23 really the best FIFA of all time? So quickly, let's have a look around FIFA 16 and see what we can notice. First of all, I prefer the menus. The stadium background was a really cool idea, and if your team has a real stadium in the game, you get to see it a bit more often. But menus aren't really that important, so the first thing we're going to look at today is the Youth Academy. So let's send out our Youth Academy scouts. You can notice straight away there's way less nations that you can scout. I think Wales was always the weirdest one not to be included, especially as they had a national team in the game already. Eastern Europe was also better represented on FIFA 23, however from running a few scout reports it does actually feel like the name pool is probably bigger on FIFA 16. Youth scouting works in mostly the same way. Each player has predefined odds of appearing, with the best platinum tier players coming through at the same odds as they do in FIFA 23. The behind the scenes of the academy is basically the same as it is now, but I do think the information is actually displayed in a better way on FIFA 23. So despite EA claiming they have actually improved in this area, it is actually mostly the same 7 years later. There are some bigger changes that really should be in here. Under 18s and under 23 squads and leagues really should be visible and simulated, and the way that Football Manager generates you a full squad each season is also, in my opinion, better than picking a nation and signing all the players yourself. But that's just the Youth Academy. Of course, signing normal players is a massive part of playing career mode as well. If there wasn't this feature, you might as well just be playing kickoff mode. So what's actually changed here since 2015? In this area, actually quite a lot has. The whole experience of signing a player is super basic on FIFA 16. You bid an amount, you wait a few days, and then you find out if it's been accepted or rejected. There's barely any negotiation with the AI, and you feel a lot like you're just interacting with a spreadsheet rather than a manager. The whole process just feels a lot less dynamic. Honestly, I think a combination of both systems might be better. I think the first bid you do probably should take a few days and then you go into further negotiations with the manager. It's always seemed a bit weird that someone like Pep Guardiola would fly from Manchester to Australia to negotiate a £1 million move, so maybe the animated negotiation should only be for massive transfers or players above a certain overall. Slightly unrelated to transfers, but one thing I didn't expect while creating this video was how nostalgic I'd get looking at some of the squads. How did Liverpool go from their awful 2015 squad to the one that won the title in 2020 in just 4 seasons? How was Wayne Rooney, Joe Hart and Daniel Sturridge England's 3 best players on FIFA 16? I know it made sense at the time, but looking back it is pretty hilarious. So, is old FIFA as good as you remember when it comes to Youth Academy and signing players? In my opinion, it probably isn't. Of course, I remember the Youth Academy being really fun, but that's just because I had a lot of fun saves using it. Signing players, of course, has improved quite a lot as well. When you think back to your old FIFA saves, you don't remember this screen. Instead, you remember the fun you had with the players on the pitch. But of course, to get the players on the pitch, now we're going to have a quick look at how the tactics have changed, and this is another area where quite a bit has happened. There might not be a lot of new formations added to the game, but there's definitely been some improvements when it comes to setting instructions and creating tactics. In the older games, the majority of the time you'd be picking from one of 5 pre-made playing styles: counter-attack, high pressure, possession, long ball, or the default tactic. You could create your own style, but the options were quite limited compared to modern FIFAs. It also isn't the most intuitive, so it does take a bit of trial and error to figure out what you're actually doing. Since 2015, there's also been a lot of new instructions added to make your team play how you want them to play. There's no way of getting your defensive midfielder to drop back like Gerrard was doing in 2015 on FIFA 16. Even weirder though is that the use of false 9 was at its peak in this season, but there's actually no way of having a striker play like this on the game. Thankfully though, there are now some more specialist roles on FIFA 23, so these kind of tactics can actually be used in career mode. This definitely is an area that FIFA has improved over the last 7 years, probably the biggest area of the entire mode. Of course, a lot of this improvement is thanks to FUT using the exact same tactic system, but you have to admit that it has also improved career mode. Anyone who's played any of the older FIFAs knows that training used to be the most incredibly overpowered thing of the entire game. You could develop a young goalkeeper from 60 rated to 90 rated in just a single season. How it worked was you'd get 5 slots in a week, where each slot would massively boost a player's attributes. While it was fun to do this, get a huge amount of money for a really small team and just build your squad up, thankfully though, this is now an area that has been improved. Of course, now you train 11 players a week, and player growth is actually a bit more balanced. This doesn't stop career mode, of course, being highly unrealistic with some stuff. Of course, you can boost someone's pace from 65 to 90, which would never happen in real life. Surprisingly, this wasn't actually something you could do in the past. Sprint speed and acceleration were both excluded from the training drills you could pick. So that's the main areas of career mode. How is the rest of the game mode's gameplay? Well, creating a manager is absolutely awful. Your manager is just the name with a clothing choice. You don't even get to pick one of those fake faces that used to be on FIFA career mode until FIFA 22. Of course, this means there's definitely no real manager heads for you to pick from either. Create a club also wasn't added until FIFA 22, so again, that's a big improvement for modern FIFA. The on-the-field gameplay is pretty bad too. It feels as old as it looks. Applying for jobs is the exact same. There's just random ones appearing every few months. There really does need to be some level of manager confidence system for the AI where managers do get fired and jobs appear when clubs are doing poorly, rather than the first place team who's unbeaten trying to change his manager to be you. There are, however, two minor things that I would like to see return to career mode. Requesting funds was very useful, especially if you increase the difficulty of your objectives while begging for the extra transfer budget. Finally, the squad ranking page was always very interesting to look at. It's something that's used in player career mode, and it's how the AI manager decides which players it's going to pick. So why don't they let us see it in our normal manager career modes? It's always fun to see when your youth players finally made it up to rank 1. So after looking at all of the main aspects of career mode, is FIFA actually worth buying every single year? Well, if you could manage to play FIFA 16 for 7 years before jumping to this year's game, I think you'd see the differences straight away. Little things change each season, but unless EA start fully upgrading the various systems that are used in career mode, things like scouting, tactics, creator club mode, managers, I think the best solution is probably buying FIFA every other year. If you'd bought FIFA 17, FIFA 19, FIFA 21 and FIFA 23, you'd see so many more improvements with each purchase than if you'd bought it every single year. Finally, can we say FIFA 23 is the best FIFA of all time? For career mode, I think it absolutely is. Of course, people who play Ultimate Team will probably prefer one of the older games where certain different players were in the mode, but before making this video, I definitely remembered older FIFAs as being much more complete than they really were. Signing players and creating tactics had barely changed from playing FIFA 08 to FIFA 16. The Youth Academy was a FIFA 11 edition that hadn't actually been improved that much by the time FIFA 16 had come out. And training was finally a bit closer to what you'd expect from a modern manager game. Of course, as I've mentioned throughout this video, there are other things that I would like to see improved, especially to do with manager jobs, maybe international management, and little things like that that could make the game a little bit more well-rounded. If you have a copy of FIFA 16, why don't you go back and try and do a save on it now? See if you can see all the differences, and why don't you let me know the ones that you spot in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and on screen right now is another video that I think you'd enjoy. So subscribe if you like career mode, and check that video out if you're interested in it. But thank you all for watching, cheers and goodbye.